I feel like if it weren't because of content and media I watch, consume, and sometimes make, I would consume to madness rather rapidly, and I probably wouldn't be alive right now. Which is why I watch a series. I was thinking about this. What does it mean to be into series? Because I would say I'm into series, but I have not watched like most of like the series you should have watched when you're my age, I guess. I wasn't alive when most series were airing, and I am also not American in any way, shape, or form. No, I am. I'm not from United States. So I don't have a lot of context in a lot of things in general, but I don't have a lot of context on like series. I have not watched, for example, Sex and the City. I watched Supernatural. I didn't see the remake because I respect myself. I'm watching the X-Files after like 1,000 years. Like, what does it mean to be into series? Like, I would say I'm into series, but I have not watched. What haven't I watched? I don't know. I have not watched a lot of things. I watch a lot of K-dramas because my mother wants me to, so we watch a lot of K-dramas here. So what does it mean to be into series? I would say I'm into series, but if anyone asks me, well, have you seen this series? Probably the answer is no. Like, I know what you're talking about, probably, but I have... Club de Cuervos is one of the most popular series in Latin America or Mexico because of very valid reasons. Club de Cuervos was a winebreaker. Is that the expression? Club de Cuervos was a watershed in television, in entertainment, and in Netflix itself. Wanna know why? Because Club de Cuervos was the very first series not from United States. Okay, so yeah, every single series that is foreign that you like, that you watch on Netflix, yeah, you're welcome. That's thanks to Club de Cuervos. And I am also a little bit sorry. But yeah, Club de Cuervos. Club de Cuervos is the first Mexican series from Netflix, the first not United States, and the first not English-speaking series. Okay, when this series depicts the story of some rich people from a fictional state, I think they did a great job because this is a comedy, right? And I think that they did a very good job on depicting the funny of the least funny people ever. Rich people. I will never watch a drama that has rich people on it and they're supposed to be like the drama from the series. I don't think you could... I genuinely think that a drama cannot wrap completely the essence of upper class ever, especially in Mexico. Like, if you give me a series about the problems of rich people, I'm going to laugh even if it's not a comedy. I will never take them seriously. I can't. I can't. So if you want me to show the whips and the tears of rich people, the true aura of that can only be perceived and given by showing how fucking stupid they are. Yeah, and that's what they did in Club de Cuervos. Okay, let me explain what Club de Cuervos is. All right, so Club de Cuervos, they're a bunch of fucking losers. Okay, this Club de Cuervos is an interesting series. It's a very interesting series because they don't know how to do anything, okay? Rich people here don't know how to do shit. This series is about the lows and a little bit less than lows than the Iglesias siblings, okay? They're Chava and Isabel. They're half siblings. They're children of Don Salvador Iglesias. Who are these people? Who are these people? This story takes place in this small town called Nuevo Toledo, right? It's a state, but it's not that big, so it's a city. And Nuevo Toledo is sometimes referred as a fucking bicycle strolling villa. So it is not big, it is not nice, it has really nothing to see besides Club de Cuervos, the football club. Now, as the video progresses, you will see that I don't think very highly of our protagonists, Cha and Isabel, because I think they're fucking stupid for a lot of reasons. But whenever you find yourself asking yourself, like, why would they say that? Why would they do that? Why would they act like that? Keep in mind that they're the children of a rich man from a small town and they grew up with money. So, now, the series is 4 seasons long and the characters are recurring. Like, there's not really new characters in general. What you got is what you got. So, in true Mexican fashion or like small town fashion as well, you will see a lot of familiar faces. So, what's going on? Their father died. Yeah, he was the CEO, the director, the head of Iglesias Industries. And now, these 2 children are fighting for that position. Their father just died? Yeah, they want the power he had. So, for 4 reasons, we see these are two fucking kids running around trying to fill up flip-flops that felt like fucking slits to them because they're stupid. Remember, they're stupid. They want to be in charge. I don't think they should be in charge. Neither does anyone that have ever met them. Basically, everyone thinks that they need more time and more effort to understand what the fuck is going on and what they need to do and how they need to behave. But they're the children of a rich man from a small city. They're going to get a fucking way. Now, as I said, I don't think there's anything as uninteresting as rich people. I don't think they're interesting. I don't think most rich people have a real personality. I think they bought it. But this series wanted me to finish it. I don't know why. Do you know why? I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know. Besides my turncoat nationalism and the fact that I love the actors for this series, without the context, this series doesn't really look anything special. Like if I like what I just told you sounds like it's full of cliches and stereotypes, and it kinda is. But I don't know. As I was watching it, something that caught my eye, like as the episodes went on, is how no one seems smart at all. Like I thought it was going to be like a big sister small, younger brother stupid kind of situation, but everything progressed except Chava and Isabel. they're stupid, they're dumb. And this series also like has deeply unlikable characters. Up to like half the series, like mid season 2, the ending of season 2, I didn't like any of the characters at all. Again, rich people fighting over who's the higher rank, sour and bitter people, bald man, Argentinians being racist. Like, it's not a surprise that I didn't like the characters, but I kept watching because it was surprising to me. Like, it's been a hot second since I saw a series that had absolutely no characters meant to be liked, because they're not meant to be liked. Isabel is meant to be annoying. He's supposed to be a jackass, and they are. But like, no one is interesting. No one is supposed to be like, Jesus, okay, why are you doing what you do then? I think everyone here hated themselves, at least a little bit. Like, if we base this observation on their actions and the real reasoning behind it, everyone here struggle with self-worth. And yeah, like even the mothers, like your ex-husband, whatever, died, and what are you doing? You're blaming everyone because you're unfair and you're unhappy. That doesn't sound very healthy to me. Especially them, especially Los Iglesias. Every grown-up in their life failed them when they were kids. Let's make that clear. I want to like make that really clear, because both Chava and Isabel are grown when we meet them. Okay, she's like 40, he's 33, 35, I don't know. But I always wonder how they were like when they were kids. What was the dynamic? How the living situation? Did they hang out? Because there's a great divide on the two of them. But if you ask me, the Iglesias are the same them her child. They share a lot of behaviors. And if you squint a little with me, you will see it too, and I'm going to explain it in great detail. They are opposite sides children. She's neurotic, he is on drugs, I don't know. But that's what they all been all their life, to themselves and to others. But even if they are like opposite sides of the spectrum of being a kid, of being alive, both the siblings are on the very core just two lost children who long for their father and his approval. They both wanted him to approve them so bad. They just wanted to be good in their father's eyes. I don't blame them. They were children. But their dad never saw them eye to eye, and I don't think he wanted to. He didn't even want to. They felt so little and so small to try and do so, and their dad never tried either. And they were both alone. They were both in solitude, and that led them to very different paths, although they shared the same characteristics in how they developed those paths and how they behaved there. And technically, like, both of them had a partner. Like, she's married, he has his mom, he technically has some friends, but not really. But they didn't have no support when they really needed it, and they could never like bear their spirits and show their true feelings on the daily, quite literally exploded over it. Listen, you could say this is like unrequited self-love, because this pair of siblings had to carry on their backs the sins of their parents. It would weigh them down when they would try to reach out, and they could never really connect to each other because they had to carry what their parents did. And listen, I don't think Isabel really liked the idea of having a sibling, but she didn't hate Chava. Chava obviously did not understand the distinction, because to Chava, Isabel was a cross he and his father were chained to, but to Isabel, Chava was living proof that nothing could ever stop his dad from moving on. He moved on from her, he moved on from her mom. Chava never said otherwise, but I do think he wanted an older sister. When they fought, you could see that he was bitter because she didn't love him as much as he loved her. And also, by the way, he treated Valentin. And it makes me wonder, like, I wonder if she gave herself the opportunity to not hate herself and to, like, not being raised in a way that she felt this responsibility to clean every mess up she came across with. I wonder if Isabel could have found companionship in Chava throughout her life. Because in the very beginning of their shared history, when Chava was just born, Isabel really cared for her sibling. It was the fuck as adults that started this fucking rivalry and opposing feelings, okay, because she loved that baby brother. So when did Isabel rejected the mere idea of sharing with Chava? Like, this visceral reaction she had when Mariluz and her child came into the picture, was it the same? I didn't explain it. Mariluz is their father's girlfriend, and she had a child with him, Valentin. So yeah, the total reject she had towards Mariluz and Valentin, was it the same she had with Chava and her mom? His mom? I don't remember his mom names, I'm sorry. Who whispered into her ear that she could not have it if Chava had it too? This it in question could be anything. It could be the money, it could be the assets, it could be the industries, but we both know I'm talking about their dad. Because I don't think, like, even if we consider the fact that she has never been poor, I don't think Isabel really cared about money. And I was really confused when she was this vicious harpy towards Marilu. But she wasn't like that on the industries. Another, like, her problem was the money in this. Like, she did not want another sibling in the will. And I remember on the first season, when she tried to show her POV to Chava, so he's on her side, she was like, do you really want him in your assets? Do you want another one in your heritage? Chava never relented. Like, he couldn't see new sibling as a danger, just like Isabel did, just like she once did when he was born. And I think that all that is because she saw her father leaving. Her father left her and her mom. So I think that it came because of that, because she was left when she was a child. It all stems because they're fucking grown up. And this diverging view of their father is evident throughout the series. Chava did not feel in trust with his dad in a genuine form, but Isabel was also worried because he left her once. Like, what if he lets him in? You know, this is evident. Even if he dies on the literal first episode, the whole series is haunted by Salvador Iglesias. Whenever people ask me what Club de Cuervos is about, I answer, it's about grief. It's not about football club, it's not about rivalry, it's about grief. This is about two children who are grieving their father and what he used to be. It's about grieving what their father wasn't and what they never admitted to themselves what it was. Like, their dad was a strong figure to try and reach up high, to hide behind, to use as an anchor, but he was also a ball and a chain. Being an Iglesias was something very different for each sibling. Like, for both of them, it was pride, obviously. For Chava, an infinite past. He was the youngest and the most pampered, so he was jackass. Like, don't you know who's my father? But it was also a cage because he was nothing but a junior. For Isabel, on the other hand, it was a trade card. It was not a free pass, it was a trade card. It was just a step to be finally seen as something besides a woman. She was worthy, a second log. She was an Iglesias. But for both of them, I think it was asphyxiating being an Iglesias, because you're not your father. You're an Iglesias, but you're not your father. That's what they heard the most when they wouldn't, like, listen. You're not your father when they attempted new things. You're not your father when they were selfish. You're not your father when they were mistaken, when they made a mistake. You're not your father. This is not what your father wanted. You're not your father. No matter how hard you try, you'll never be your father. Listen, that is fucked up, but they also didn't know they could make peace with that because they never lived not in chaos. Like, that was their natural state. That's what they were used to. And now your father's dead. Oh my god. Grief can be a lot of things, right? Processing a relative's passing can be challenging, and it's supposed to be challenging. It can be impossible. You can, like, not process it if the conditions are met. And throughout the story, like obviously accepting something like grieving and everything, it's like a 5-step thing. But throughout the series, I found 3 depictions of grieving that are like the most common, which are anger, depression, and confusion. Grief is obviously more complicated than that. It's obviously more complicated than anger, depression, and confusion. But every person here struggle with it at some point and some degree. But something that they all have in common, even if they acted very differently to each other, something they had in common is that they didn't show it. What I mean when I say that I find anger, depression, and confusion in every single character here, at least one of them, is that is the reasoning behind what they do. They're angry, they're confused, or they're depressed. I'm feeling like this is expected. Even if the people that are grieving are not grieving like Salvador Iglesias, that are grieving the person who died, they're grieving something. I feel like this is expected. And I don't know, you would be the odd one if you didn't feel this way when grieving. But our main characters, surrounded by people. Isabel and Chava are always surrounded by people, but they don't act like it. Like Isabel has her mom, so does Chava. Isabel has this best friend that we don't really see much, and their conversations are questionable at best, but she's there. Chava doesn't really have friends, which is not surprising considering the type of context and people he's surrounded with. Like the context and conditions he's in give him the best potion to brew, so he has long-lasting and honest friends. But theirs are similar, even if they're in opposite sides and they have like opposite literal lives. They're both so afraid to fail. They are so afraid to feel anything, and I don't blame them in the slightest. Like Isabel couldn't show emotion without being crucified because she's being so dramatic right now, and Chava couldn't show any type of anything without being mocked. It's awful. It's awful. However, this doesn't stop them from being dumb. They were like this before the father died. Let's see each Iglesias and their self-hate, okay? The self-health threat they had. Isabel Iglesias. I'm not calling her Reina. Fuck taking your husband's name, except if you're gay. I love you, Yamaguchi. Isabel Iglesias, she's the elder sister. She's 40 something. She's this bossy daddy's girl. Well, not really. Are you the daddy's girl if your daddy never says yes to anything? She was a bossy eldest daughter with a younger sibling. Before her father died, she was already involved in the company, in the industries, in the football club, specifically in the administrative area. And honestly, everyone saw her as someone to be tamed, someone to put on with. Tragic. And listen, I love Mariana Treviño, okay? She's my god. I cannot stand Isabel. Not for 1 second. I'm sorry. I'm not. She was a spoiled little brat who only wanted to be right, and she only was allowed to be right. Like, girl, she never saw anything but herself in life. She built her career performance as her only quality and important attribution to life. And listen, on her behalf, so does like everyone else. But girl, stand up. Okay, everyone hates themselves, right? Everyone in this 4-season, 45 episodes, 50 minutes each episode series hating themselves at least a little bit. She's the first self-hate I could recognize. It is fucked up because at times, by the way she acted, I had to agree with the root of the comments that were made towards her. But those comments were laced with misogyny, and you're making me agree with the people that say solterón as an insult. Why are you making me agree with people that say spinter as an insult? Why? But I am doomed. At the end of the day, I am doomed because I know she's insufferable. I know why she behaves like that. And unprecedented, it's not because she's just a cunt. No, she has a backstory. She has a half-way younger sibling. This half-way younger sibling comes into the picture, and now he is the star of the show. He is the son your father always wanted. So she feels like a boulder. She tries to compensate it. How? By being a leader. She's someone you can trust. She's someone you can lean on. She ends up being a self-centered arsehole who only thinks she can be right at all times. She never learns how to ask for help, and she never trusts anyone. She never lets anyone else be trusted. Like, she is the only person you can trust, no one else. She's the whole shebang. She also has this arc of like having a self-appeal awakening and stuff. I don't know, it was uncomfortable to watch. It was a little bit weird in general. I didn't like it, not because I'm a prude, but because they made it seem like it was like the only reason she could be redeemed. Isn't she was smart as hell. She was just new to the most important side of the industry, and she did not want it to. Okay, she was involved in the industry, but on the administrative level. She was not the CEO, and her father did not want her, so she didn't know anything. She was so fucking stupid. She was too self-confident. This is one of her sins, because this is football in Mexico. You're not going to fill that chair without allies. You're not gonna do that, because that's her main problem. Actually, that's her main problem. She thought she didn't need anyone on her side or by her side. She fought for the fucking presidency for so long, and when she had it, she didn't know what to do with all that. Like, let me help you. I will, however, put most of the blame on how she acted, well, no, the reasoning of why she acted like that, on her mom and the way she raised her. Her mom got wrong. She was severely wrong. I'm not going to diminish what happened. She got severely wrong throughout her life, and then the rest of it, she spent it wary of other people, and that's what she taught to her daughter. But now your daughter doesn't know her left and right when trusting people, because she thinks that if she's not self-sufficient, she's going to die. Why would you make your child fight for love so hard for her, so she doesn't end up hurt like you? Because that didn't work. I do want to highlight how neglectful her upbringing was. That is something that I really need everyone to know and understand, for you to understand Isabel Iglesias. What did they call it on TikTok? Padres physically present, emotionally neglectful. I don't know. They have a term for that on TikTok. Whatever. Her parents were shit. Both her parents were shit. But she was also like 40. Girl. Like, okay, throughout your life, you didn't really have someone to tell you to be like, okay, that's enough. All right, you're 40. You're 40 years old. 40 years old. I'm a firm believer that, like, after a certain age, after like you're like 15, 20 years old, I give you that, you have the responsibility to identify what tendencies, what type of behaviors that you have are negatively impacting you and your relationships, right? And it's your responsibility to fix that. Isabel is a special case because she was already aware of those behaviors. She just saw those behaviors as iconic. This is 2015. The way she acted towards most people was shit. It was awful. She was overbearing, and she was just dead as rude. I hate rude people. I hate rich people who are rude. She treated her way of acting, she treated this behavior she had as if it was empowering, and I am again doomed to understanding the socio-political contexts. You're in a male-dominated field. You need your claws sharpened. But people are really thinking less of you because you were born a woman. You were socialized a woman. And I understand why you are so fierce. But for the love of God, why are you treating your employees like shit? ¿Qué te hicieron ellos? Why are you fucking up every chance you get to get a chance? Can't you just ask for help? But again, I get it. I know, I just described her as being a brat, but let's view it on her own perspective, okay? You are now Isabel Iglesias. You are her. You are the daughter of the beloved, recently late tycoon of your whole state, right? You are from a small town, remember? You want to be a chairman. You will probably rename it as chairwoman. You wanted this for years, okay? You have worked your ass off for years just so your dad thinks of you as a reliable heir. No. You're not an heir because you're earning it. You're a successor, right? You're a successor. But you were born a woman. He wants you to get married. He wants you to have a family. So you say, you know what? I respect you and your opinion. So you go and you get married to the literal star goalie of like 10 years. I don't know how long he was there. I don't really like that man. Your husband, he supports your ambitions. You got yourself a man that supports your ambitions. You're already winning by this time. So you keep close with your dad after you did what he wanted you to do. You keep close, you try to learn. Even if like every time you get close, he so slightly pushes you away of the industry because he doesn't really want you here. But you keep going. You keep going. You know why you keep going? Because you have a brother. He's a dumbass who keeps messing up. And what happens when he messes up? He gets a slap in the hand. So you keep going. Even if he messes up, he never doubted he had a slot here. So you keep going. If he doesn't doubt it, why you should doubt yourself? You keep going. You keep crying. You keep showing off. It's obvious that she will never ask for help, because what will happen if she does? What will happen? What do you think it will happen if, like, after years of swearing up and down that you had it under control, that you could handle this, that you could endure it, that you wanted this, that this was nothing, what will happen if you dare to ask for help? Your dad, you know, he always wanted you to get away from this. He wanted you to have children. I would have gone mad too. What the fuck? I hated how they presented the idea of having children as the end of your life. I understand that having children is the beginning of a new chapter in your life because you're literally having children, but they treat it as if it feels like the end of her. Why? Jesus fucking Christ. If you want children, go get them yourself. Why are you making your only daughter endure that when you didn't even like your fucking children? Isabel. She never accepted the fact that she could need help. Needed help was like not in here. It was not a concept in her mind. If she did ever need help, she would lose the little she had already achieved. And for what? She never had anyone's respect. She never gained anyone's respect. No one respected Isabel. They saw her as a fucking brat, which she was. But she was also like your boss at a certain point. She never gained her own respect even. Oh, no. Isabel's self-hatred, it was palpable to me in the way she never let herself be vulnerable. She was always on the go, and she had never time for nonsense, not even her own nonsense. She never let herself not make sense. I'm actually surprised she ever let herself fall in love. Eventually, all of this beat her in the ass, but my thing with her is that she never let herself see above of what she thought was the limit. For someone that is so empowered, she never dared to raise the limit or to break the limit. She always said, like, she always held close to her heart that she was what the company needed, what the football club needed. But she never asked herself if the company or the football club was what she needed. She had this crisis in the middle of season 2-3 in which she saw no ending on everyone else's problems and thus her own problems, and she did like question herself, like, what am I doing this for? But she didn't come to any conclusion. Like, it was a buckle that, yeah, she's smart. Again, she's smart as hell, but she's so dumb. I prayed when I was watching this, I prayed she would get a hobby. I don't know, you have a best friend, don't you? Get involved in the lives of your best friend's children. I don't know, maybe you do want kids, maybe you don't, but those children are also your family as much as she is. Something, I don't know, go outside, do something besides eating elotes. But again, I get it. She grasped and threw herself at the company and the football club because that's what her father did. Ever since she was a little girl, she saw her dad completely avoiding everything else and working and being at the company. So in her little mind of hers, she was like, okay, if my dad does that, that means that's the right thing to do. And if for my dad, I am less important than the football club, then when she grows up, she's gonna think, oh, the football club is more important than I. She was so dumb. So smart. She was so dumb. Chava. I don't think Chava felt chosen by anyone ever in his life. When I was making the script, this is the section I struggled the most because I couldn't find anything to say besides that first sentence. His hair pissed me off most of like the whole series. What the fuck is that French? You're not Daniel Howell. Chava never even chose himself. Isn't that fucked up? He acted as he thought others wanted him to act, even if no one told him that specifically. Oh, he never had any friends, by the way. He never had any friends. He messed around and partied with the football players, but he never even considered them friends. He was too important, but he also never thought of himself enough. Chava is an addict. I don't know why no one mentions that ever, but he was an addict. He saw the bottom of the bottle when it came to self-preservation, to self-consideration. I saw him jerk off once. they show his feet when he came. And I'm pretty sure that is one of the main reasons as to why I don't like him. I'm sorry, he just really pisses me off. I will give him some room. Okay, I'll cut him a little bit of slack because he knew he was an embarrassment. He was not a stranger to that. No. Again, he hated himself. But you're not 13 anymore. You are in charge of your own behavior. Why are you acting like that? Is it because of anger? Is it because of sadness? What is the reason for you to be such a jerk all the time? I'm less lenient than I'd be with a real person because he's not, and he's also rich. He had so much potential. Throughout the series, it was teased that he had this enormous talent for art. He never really threw himself into that. He wanted the presidency just because her sister wanted it too. Why are you doing this to yourself? Is it because of your parents? Your dad is a piece of shit, but your mom is your biggest fan. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Listen, besides the drugs and sleeping around, if you're not looking for it, you think he would be an exception to the everyone hates himself. But I know his heart is not in it when he throws all the flowers to himself. Okay, he does not think of himself enough. Someone who thinks so highly of himself would never let anyone treat him like garbage. Because that's another thing the siblings Iglesias shared but never really taught each other. No one respected Chava. Just like no one respected Isabel. Just that they didn't respect Isabel because she's a woman. No one really respected Chava. No one respected him as a boss. No one respected him as a leader. No one took him seriously. Okay, he was still a playful, unserious junior to everyone's eye, including himself sometimes. He will be soon bored and he will move on onto the next 10-month phase. Everyone can work again, go back to normal, and be at peace. And you know what? I am not scared to say that that is the same thing I thought of him, because that is how he thought of himself. If we check his backstory, like the reasoning and all that, he did have passions and aspirations. And they said that explicitly, and they also show it. He did not want it to be CEO. He did not want it the presidency. He just wanted everyone to know that he was capable of being president. That there was nothing. That he could be like his dad if you just give him a chance. It's really unfortunate when we create roles for ourselves to play, even if when no one's watching. But again, he hated himself. He truly hated himself. Because even when he tried to choose himself, at the same time, he was trying to choose his sister, he will fuck it up so badly. You will think it's it's a gimmick, and it's not, and it's awful. When they showed that side of himself, when he like generally tried to amend things, generally tried to do things right, he would mess it up enormously, like ginormously. And it's sad to watch. It really is. It's really sad to watch. He never had a serious idea. Jesus Christ. Like his sister, Chava, also never let himself be vulnerable with no one. He just didn't have a best friend like his sister. And if you think about it, it's incredible how close he was. Because Isabel, well, she was married, so she had this level of intimacy already achieved with her husband. Chava didn't have that. He never let himself slip up. What an awful way to live. I mean, he barely was doing so. And I'm still salty at how they treated his character at the end. Like, what if I wanted to see Isabel's getting that redemption? What about that? Did they think about that? Did the producers think that I wanted to see Isabel and not him? I don't like him, okay? I don't like him in the slightest. I don't have that many ideas about him. I'm sorry. I'll probably think about him later. He just really pisses me off. He's like anti-self-love, if you think about it. Like, he does not only hate himself, he's anti-self-love. He was one of the worst peons I've ever seen in my entire life. Because to him and to everyone, this is a fucking game. This is a chess game. Which actually brings me to like why I watched this series, why I finished it. What made me finish this series and what actually made me like it is how money and power were employed here. The Chava siblings were sick in money when they were growing up. Isabel, like, she's the oldest, so she still saw the Emporium being made. But Chava was born in a single cot, so even though they had money to throw around, to throw up in the air, they were never serving. That is a tennis reference. The ball was never on their side. They had like 3 out of 100 ball touches. They did 1,000 on goals. Once grown and like post that death, although they were never poor, they never had money. They never had money. They were always like under the hand of everyone who had money. They were always running around so they wouldn't get crushed as if bugs they were. And because of that, And because of that, throughout most of the series, I call them my failure siblings. I love my failure siblings. You need to watch the series so you see exactly what I mean. But they were always failing so hard. They were always flopping. And I love that. It was really entertaining. Okay, like, what's next? How are they going to mess it up? What mistake are they going to make that is going to cost them literal millions of dollars? What rules are they going to be subjected under? Who are they going to have to dance for so they can give them a little bit money? And this actually set them apart from like most series I watch about rich people, because the writers reiterated that they were fucking losers all the time, and they delivered the message. Okay, I have to admit, they did that. Okay, other series like Succession often portrayed the characters, the rich characters, as they were like victims of casualties. They tried, they planned, they coordinated, but they were doomed because they were not meant to be. Los Iglesias, no. They never think ahead. Okay, they never even thought of thinking ahead. They were scrambling to make it to the end of the month. They could barely cover salaries. Don't even get me started on expenses. They needed like 20 people to cover half a season. They never thought of repeating successful strategies. It was just pure bliss, faith, and loserness. And they did not try to hide it. Every time they were like, and do you think ahead? No. And it's fun. But it's also like that way of acting, the way they acted towards their fuck ups, went hand in hand with the rest of the characters having to clean up their messes. And that is something that I also not liked, but was surprised by. They didn't have a redemption arc in any way whatsoever. Like them being crazy, don't worry, someone else will clean it up, that kind of like tendencies rich people have, they had it until like the very fucking end. And that made me not actually like the finale. Now that we're talking about it, I didn't like it. I didn't like how it ended. I don't think it was fair. I don't think it was fair to like, I don't think, okay, it was realistic because they were rich. Remember, they're fucking rich. And it was realistic, but I didn't like it. I don't think it was fair to like them or most of the characters, because you know, I just didn't like it. Because I just feel they could have done more with the rest of the characters. Which bring me to the highlights of Club de Cuervos, the true highlights. Let me show you my real protagonists. Whew. You know, although it was very fun to like watch the siblings fuck up, it was also inciting thinking how the others are going to like make it up, because that's what they do. Okay, let's go over my two main characters. I have 5: Hugo Sanchez, Carmelo, Felix Domingo, Potro, and Mariluz. Honorable mention to Tony though, because he did get himself a piece of my heart without me noticing. I will always love the underdog. I'm not sorry. I was gonna say I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. But he was also in my favorite movie of all time. So I love you, Tony. I might do analysis of your consistency and like love for what you're doing, your passion. So who are these people? What am I looking at? Hugo Sanchez and Carmelo are Chavas and Isabel respective personal assistants. Felix Domingo, he was vice president for like 1,000 years. Potro, he's a football club member, and he's like, well, maybe not the only, because the other characters also had their own arc enrichment, but he was like the longest lasting character here from the football club. And he's also like in the better half of episodes, so I had to mention him. And also Mariluz, oh Mariluz, I'm sorry I didn't like have a great chunk of explaining about her. I did wanted to give her her own video, but I'm gonna tell you a secret, she is everything Isabel wanted to be. She's the true girl boss. Okay, she loved herself, she loved her kid. She's the only one who forgave herself. She was a victim of self-hatred club, but she was the only character that forgave herself because she had the power to do so. She had the courage to do so. Okay, now, I like Hugo Sanchez and Carmelo because they are my miserable middle-aged office workers out there. I like them a lot because they're like this only percentage of people that aren't like literal zombies. Kinda, Hugo Sanchez kinda is. Even from like the first appearance, you could see how different they are, how on opposite sides they are of the jock spectrum. Hugo Sanchez will die for Chava. He would die for that motherfucker. Carmelo just wants to get paid. I don't blame him. As the show progressed, they got more interesting. I'm glad they did, because it is, I don't know, the plots didn't really affect the main plots. Like, they didn't really affect the siblings, the twins. And if their shared plot, because they do get a shared plot, if it wasn't added, nothing would have really changed. But it was a nice touch. I know how budgets work and I know how schedules work, but it always boggles me how the production never really explored side characters as they could. So I'm glad that they for this one. Hugo Sanchez's lore is crazy. It's a lot. It's a damn lot. I'm not going to get into it because I blocked most of it out of respect for him. But I think he was raised by wolves at a certain point. I'm not making a joke. I think that happened. So I kind of get why he loved Chava. Like, out of everyone that ever treated him like shit, Chava's like the tamest, even if he didn't respect him either. No one respects anyone here, if you think about it. Gente rica. So anyways, Hugo Sanchez will go to hell and back for Chava. Carmelo just has a job. And they're so funny together. Like, if you want an excuse to watch this, it's just so you can see at the end of the season, in like season 3, I think, how they get involved with each other. I would. Now, Felix. In my opinion, Felix is the best character of the whole series. He's the first one I liked, and he's the best. His story and his background and his development and the environment he's in, it's just, oh, it's really good. It's really good. And he's the most human-like, because I do think that most people here lost their humanity as time went on, but I think he never did. He had a drive and he had an argument and he had a justification as to why he's doing all he does, and it makes sense when you piece it all together. It makes sense. And that's why when he gets mad at the cousins, at the twins, at the siblings, you get mad with him. Like, besides them acting like motherfuckers, you understand his point of view as well. And I think he's the only one that never threw a tantrum. Everyone here throws tantrums all the time because they never matured, they never grew up. And so he's the only one that I never stopped and thought to myself, no, why would you do that? I didn't have that moment with him, which is great. He never threw tantrums. No, what he did and actually didn't like is that he let opportunities go. Like, he let them run by until he started running towards them. He was such a great leader. He was such a great guy, and he was wasted on Club de Cuervos. He was there because he was chained and tormented by the past. He was such a great character. Potro. I lucky cannot stand him. He was a whore and he was a whiny motherfucker. He still was the last time I saw him. He probably still is right now. And I don't have much to say about him either. He has a spin-off that I haven't watched. I might watch Potro's spin-off to see if I have something to say about him, because I don't really do right now. Okay, I'm gonna have another honesty moment here. I think he would be boring to be around. I don't think he would be entertaining in any capacity. But again, it's not really his complete fault. Like, remember, everyone in this story is a loser. Everyone here is a loser. And the environment they're in kind of foments it. Like, as I watched this series, I got scandalized at how they lived. No one in this series has a hobby. No one. Besides Hugo Sanchez, he gardens. But no one else does anything besides going to work and drugs and having sex. But that's not a hobby. Okay, that's not a hobby. Like, remember, everyone here hates themselves and they're also a fucking loser. So go figure why all they do is work, drugs, and intercourse. Like, do you not like reading once in a while? Go for a walk. You live in a small town. Go for a walk. Buy yourself a nieve. I don't know. Scroll to your phone and your tiny ass phones in that fucking Instagram. Oh, yeah. Right, this fucking thing. Remember that this series came out in 2015? It will be like 10 years in like 6 months. Actually, during a couple months, Club de Cuervos and Tabinov were in the works at the same time. This series is a product of time in every aspect. Every aspect. Everything about this is so early mid-2010s. And it pisses me off. Everyone here dresses like shit. What the fuck are you wearing? And the tiniest phones? Why are you buying yourself an iPhone? I get it, you have money, blah, 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 blah. They're not functional for your lifestyle. Buy yourself a tablet like Hugo Sanchez. The music there, the events. Oh, the haircuts. Oh, no. I know. Let's wrap this shit up because I'm getting mad. Ya me estoy enojando. Final thoughts. What can I say about this series that I haven't not said yet? I don't think anyone in this story is ever fair towards Isabel or Chava, like ever, and that is terribly messed up for everyone. Both of them were just a transactional device and like things to put up with for a period of time before you get your like reward. Like, okay, no wonder their own relationship and the relationships they have with everyone sucked. Everyone hated them just as much as they hated them. And also, remember how they come from a small town? Every small town is built on lies, okay? So when they were trying to do their own thing and they were trying to like move and see the foundations to see what they were working with, they moved the floors and they uncover a lot of lies and a lot of things they shouldn't have. But listen, how you're going to blame people because they moved the floors that were covered in lies and you threw them into the consequences as if they knew all along what was going to happen? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I hate that. Why are you mad because someone uncovered the truth you never wanted to explain to anyone, and then you are going to act as if what happened isn't also your fault because you didn't explain it? That doesn't make any fucking sense. You need to own up to your mistakes, okay? You need to do that. The siblings never did. Why you either? But no, I just hate it because the children were always powerless. I'm calling them children again. The children were always powerless. No matter what they did, it was always wrong. And I understand that what they did was wrong most of the times, but you're not giving them the chance either. Jesus. However, as power as they were, we did have some great female protagonists in this series, and the producers and the characters, the actors, did a pretty nice job in highlighting important conversations. Like they created important and great conversations regarding political discourses like misogyny in closed spaces, bureaucracies in multi-million-dollar industries, having children, choosing yourself, choosing others, not succumbing to nostalgia, owning your mistakes. Like this series touched multiple topics that I didn't think they would. I did come with a lot of prejudice in my mind, but I was nicely surprised. So that was great. What else? What else can I say? How long is this? 3 minutes. I like the series. Like it was a nice watch. Would I watch it again? In like 2 years or so. I'm not saying it's a good series. At times it was so bad it was good. The plot lines, the acting, the CGI. The CGI was so bad at the end of the series. It was so bad it was good. I had a great time watching it. I did wish piojos on people sometimes, but I didn't like them. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this series. How do you end the video? I didn't think of this. I don't have it in the screen yet. I'll see you later.